You have 3 hours left to get your vote in before polling places shut down at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, this is a pivotal midterm election we've been talking about that'll determine which party will control Congress. Well, let's take you around the Bay Area right now. Here's a look at polling places in both Berkeley and in San Francisco, where you can see there has been a steady stream of people coming in to vote.
We've sent our team of reporters all over the Bay Area and Southern California. They're keeping a close eye on local and state races.
And we have team coverage from San Diego all the way to Oakland. But first, let's go to our political reporter, Melissa Kane, on voter turnout. Melissa?
Yeah, Ken and Liz, in California, we have a record number of people registered to vote, nearly 20 million. But we're still waiting to see if that means a record turnout. Now, so far, we're seeing big numbers of early voters, but it's not clear whether these are just regular voters who are voting earlier, so there are fewer voters today at the polls, evening it all out for a regular midterm, or if these early ballots really do signal a huge surge in voting. Now, so far, Alameda County has counted 220,000 ballots from early voters, and according to the Chronicle, if that level continues today, the county could see a 70% turnout. And San Francisco has counted more than 130,000 early ballots, and they could see a record turnout of 60% or more. Santa Clara County is already having a record-setting election. More than 250,000 ballots were turned as of Monday. And if that continues, they're projecting 60 to 70% turnout. Now, statewide turnout for midterm elections is usually between 50 and 60%. So when the dust settles on this election, we'll see whether the final numbers show historic highs or whether the same number of people are voting. They're just doing it earlier. As a reminder, in 2016, the presidential election, 75% of registered California voters cast a ballot. Now, election projections for this election could get close to that. And as Liz mentioned, of course, you still have a couple of hours left to vote. And even if you're still standing in line at 8, you will get a chance to cast your ballot. Ken and Liz.
All right, Liz, thanks. Let's take it over to the East Bay right now. People are taking advantage of those last few hours to cast their ballots.
Yeah, more and more people are turning out as the clock winds down. KPIX 5 Susie Steimel is live in Berkeley with more on that final push. Susie?
Well, Liz and Ken, I just talked to a poll worker here named Tom who says he has been at this Berkeley location. We're at Rosa Parks Elementary School. He says he's been here for 20 years. He says this is the biggest voter turnout that he's ever seen. Their mail-in ballots basket is full. Their provisional ballots basket is full. And he says he's seen hundreds of people coming in throughout the day. And we talked to a couple people as they were heading out the door after they voted here today. And for the most part, what people were talking about is a lot of the rhetoric that we've heard throughout and across the country, which is that people, especially here in Berkeley, do feel that this is a referendum on President Trump. There was one young woman in particular, a 21-year-old single mother. It was her first time being able to vote, and she works for a center for undocumented immigrants in education. And she says working with that population just highlighted for her that it is her civic duty to vote.
For me, it's a privilege. And for somebody not to take advantage of that, it's really sad. There's a lot of people out here that don't have that and would want their voice out there, and these people that have the privilege to do it, and they're not even doing it.
For people like Brenda, obviously there's certain issues like immigration that she feel like were a hot button for her, and obviously, as I mentioned, the referendum sentiment about the president. For the most part, more people that we talked to just said they felt like they wanted to have their voice heard, and that's what's bringing them out to the polls today. So we'll see what the numbers look like later on in the evening. Liz and Ken.